Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So biochemical oxidation of nutrients. So whatever the nutrients we eat, the breaking down of them in the presence of the enzymes and the chemicals. So biochemical oxidation of nutrients in the presence of specific enzymes. So for the respiration also, what do they need? They need these specific enzymes to work or to make the reaction faster at optimum temperature. So at some temperature, what happens? The breaking down of the food will be happening. And where it happens in the mitochondria. What is mitochondria, children?
The energy house of the cell.
Powerhouse of the cell.
Correct. Very good, Abhinav. That is the powerhouse of the cell. So this whole respiration process, where it happens in the mitochondria. A very important question for the 1 mark. So where the respiration occurs, it occurs in the mitochondria of cells to release energy. So what do? They will be producing the energy. At the same time, they release the energy for various metabolic activities. So whatever the activities we want to do it mechanically, physically, whatever the activities we want to do, for that, this respiration is important. So this is what the respiration definition is. This proper definition you should write. If you want that the examiner for the board should give you the full marks, it should be a proper definition. And they do ask about the definition of it. So it is a biochemical oxidation of nutrients in the presence of the specific enzyme at the optimum temperature, and in the mitochondria it will be happening so as to release the energy for doing the various metabolic activities. Clear, children? Am I clear with the definition?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, what's about like cells to release energy for
Various
man?
metabolic activity. Yes, Sabina?
That's it, ma'am. Just copying down the words.
Okay. So food plus oxygen, it gives us the carbon dioxide plus water and energy, plus water and energy. So that is what the reaction. In a very simple language, I have written the reaction here. So food plus oxygen, whatever the food we are eating, and in the presence of oxygen, it gives the carbon dioxide. So we do release the carbon dioxide, yes. We do release the water. In which form we release the water from the body? What are the two ways by which we release the water from the body?
Sweat,
Very good. And then?
urination.
Very good. So sweat and urine, they are the two form of the water, or I can say the waste water or the extra water. So waste or the excess of water will be released in two form, which is in the form of sweat and urine. This is also again a very important question. In which form the extra water will be released from the body? So in the form of either sweat or in the form of the urine, it will be released. So this is what the respiration is. Now coming to the next one is types of respiration. So two types of respiration are there. They are the aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration. So aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Any one of you have the idea what they are? You might have studied in class 7 also, I think, about them.
One
So,
with oxygen and one without oxygen.
so Siddharth, any idea? Meher, Sudhamshu, Abhigya, Aryan,
One with oxygen.
any idea
one
what they
without
are?
oxygen.
Aerobic takes place in presence of oxygen, while anaerobic takes place without the presence of oxygen.
Correct. So one takes place in the presence and the other takes place in the absence. Turn on the video, children. Shayan, Shudhamshu, Abhinav, Abhigya. Why the again videos are off? You all are looking smart only. Right? Do you have any doubt on yourself? No, correct. So one takes place in the presence of oxygen and the other takes place in the absence of oxygen. But is there anything else, like any other difference between both? Yes,
Ma'am,
there are. Any other difference? Yeah, Dhruti.
ma'am, one occurs in mitochondria and other in the cytoplasm.
Very good. Yes, correct. Yes. So one occurs like in the mitochondria. The second one occurs in the cytoplasm. Okay. What about the energy? Which will be producing? Which respiration will produce a high amount of energy?
Aerobic.
Aerobic. Right? The aerobic energy will be producing the high amount of energy. Whereas anaerobic, they also produce the energy, but not as like the high amount the aerobic respiration produce. So what is the energy currency of the cell?
ATP.
Now, Dhriti will not answer, others will be answering. What is the energy currency of the cell?
ATP.
ATP. Very good. ATP. What is the full form of ATP? Meher?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Okay, adenosine triphosphate. Now, what happened? This ATP, we are aware that it's a form of energy. Now, in the aerobic respiration, they produce 36 ATP. How much? 36. Like we have the coins, right? 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 10 rupees, then 20 rupees. The notes also we have. Same way, the energy also are present in the ATP form. So that number is what? The 36 in the aerobic condition. So the aerobic respiration, 36 ATP is produced. Whereas when I talk about the anaerobic, only 2 ATPs are produced. So you can see the difference. So aerobic, it's like very, very high, which is 36 ATP of energy. Whereas in the aerobic, just 2 ATP molecules are produced during the process of it. So that's the
Ma'am,
reason, like in, yeah,
ma'am, in aerobic respiration, isn't it 38 ATP?
36 plus 2, it is different concept. It is different. Okay. Initially it is 36, later on 2 will be adding to it. Right? So what happens is like these ATPs are much different. So that's why in our body we have only the aerobic. If imagine if we are going for the anaerobic, will it be sufficient for us to write or to chit chat with the friend, to talk with a friend? It is enough? No, correct? Right? We need more amount of energy. For that, we are undergoing only the aerobic, not the anaerobic. Anaerobic respiration will be happening like in the yeast. I hope you have heard the yeast word, right? Yeast is a unicellular organism, correct? So they usually undergo this anaerobic process where they do not need the oxygen. So directly they will be breaking down the food in the absence of oxygen. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So coming to the aerobic respiration, first we'll start with this. Aerobic respiration, it uses oxygen. So what it do? It uses the oxygen for respiration process. So respiration will be happening in the presence of oxygen. Second thing, here the glucose is completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water and water by oxidation. Fine. So when this reaction happens in our body, whatever the amount of glucose is there, it will be completely changed into the carbon dioxide and water. Fine. And that is why this aerobic respiration is also called as complete oxidation reaction. Okay. So it is also called as complete oxidation reaction. So why it is called as complete oxidation reaction? I'll tell you. C6H12O6. What it is?
Glucose.
C6H12O, glucose, very good. So this glucose, when it gets break down, then it's converted into CO2, water, and energy. Now you tell me how much number of carbon are here in the C6H12O6?
6,
What is 6? Whereas in the CO2, what is the number of carbon?
1.
1. So since the number of carbon from the 6, it got changed into 1 after the reaction, that is why it is called as complete oxidation. Fine. So in any of the reaction, if number of carbon molecules, whatever the number are there, 6, 7, 4, 3, whatever the number of carbon molecules are there, if they completely change into one number of carbon molecule, then it is known as complete oxidation. But sometimes in some of the reaction, what happens? They do not get completely changed into one carbon. In that case, they are known as incomplete oxidation. For example, if I talk about same thing, C6H12O6, and instead of the presence, I am saying the absence, okay? So absence of oxygen is there. So when it is in the presence of oxygen, what happens? It changes into the carbon dioxide. Whereas in the absence of oxygen, they converted into C2H5OH. What is this C2H5OH?
Ethanol.
Very good, Dhruti. Ethanol. Ethanol, or it is also called as ethyl alcohol. Children, write this name actually in your copy. They ask you the formula in your, competency-based kind of question. So what is the formula of ethanol or ethyl alcohol? So here you can see, initially the number of carbon are 6. But later on, after the reaction, what is the number of carbon?
2.
2. That is why this reaction is called as incomplete oxidation reaction. So
Ma'am,
if the number of, yeah, tell me.
ma'am, can you once go back to previous page?
Yeah. So if the number of carbon molecules are completely changing into the 1, then it is called as the complete oxidation. And if it change either to 2, either to 3, either to 4, either to something else, then it is known as the incomplete oxidation. Dear children, so you should know this. So though it is not asked in the board exam to write about the incomplete or complete, but yes, in your higher classes it will be useful and you should know it. So in this, what happened, aerobic respiration, it will be broken down into the carbon dioxide and water.
Ma'am, you can.
Shall we go for, okay, thank you. We'll go to the next point now. In this aerobic respiration, children, this paragraph, don't write it here because this is for the anaerobic process, okay? I've explained you the meaning here. Third point will be from here. Aerobic respiration produces a considerable amount of energy, or I can say high amount of energy which is needed for the body. So it produces the high amount of energy which gets stored in the form of ATP. So it produces the high amount of energy. It gets stored in the form of ATP in mitochondria. So in the mitochondria, they will be storing the energy, whatever it is being produced. Clear, children? So let me complete this, children, then I'll give you some time. Then in this reaction, if I talk about aerobic reaction, reaction is glucose. It breaks down into the pyruvate. Fine, glucose initially in the cytoplasm break down into pyruvate. So this is the first step actually. Fine, glucose will break down in the pyruvate. Have you ever heard this word pyruvate?
No, ma'am.
No, right?
It's a 3 carbon molecule.
Yes, very good. It is a 3 carbon molecule and the formula of it is, if I write the structure, it is like this. Fine. Okay. Wait. Here C should come and here H should come like this. So 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon. Fine. So in this, actually, in the pyruvic acid, they will have the two groups, carboxylate group and the ketone group. Carboxylate is this group, these two groups are carboxylate, and this is the ketone group. So don't go very deep into the structure of it, but you should know the name pyruvate. Okay. So I have told you the structure so that for the knowledge actually. If you want, you can write. If not, then you can store it in your brain. So glucose initially will break down in the cytoplasm into the pyruvate. Now this pyruvate will break down into the carbon dioxide, water, and they produce the 38 ATP. And where it happens? It happens in the mitochondria in the presence of oxygen. So the whole process happens in the mitochondria in the presence of oxygen. So two things are there here, children. Glucose converted into pyruvate. So this first reaction, glucose being converted into pyruvate, it happens only in the cytoplasm. Okay. And once this pyruvate has been formed, then only it will be converted into carbon dioxide, H2O, and 38 ATP in the presence of oxygen. Clear? So two reactions they have involved. In the first reaction, it occurs in the cytoplasm, whereas second part of it occurs in the mitochondria. Am I clear, children? Meher, Shubhansh, Sudhamshu, Dhriti,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Aryan, Dhairya. Yeah,
Ma'am, here 38 ATP will only get formed.
tell me. Yes, actually, Dhriti, when you go to your higher classes, it should not be here 38 actually. When you go to your higher classes, it should be 36 plus 2 because 2 ATP will be joining them later on during the transferring case and all. There are so many other terms, NADH, NADPH. So all those terms are there. So rather than going very, very deep into the 12th class, write it here 38 ATP.
Can you go to the previous page now?
Yeah, just one. So this is what I'll give you a time, Abhinav. Just a minute. I'll just complete this thing. So my glucose will be converted into pyruvate in the cytoplasm, and then pyruvate converted into the carbon dioxide, H2 and 38 ATP in the mitochondria presence of oxygen. Now you tell me this glucose is how much carbon? 6 carbon, right? The pyruvate is how much carbon?
3 carbon.
3 carbon. So the first reaction is a complete or incomplete oxidation reaction. Incomplete oxidation reaction, and that is why again the reaction happened, and this pyruvate is converted into the CO2, which is what? A complete oxidation, and CO2 has only